Okay, this episode, I'm going to get into primitive weapons. Stuff that everybody can get, basically. Um, I'm into the, Native American kind of stuff. And let me just show you, some of the primitive weapons, basically. Bow and arrow. Now, I have a compound bow. So, very sophisticated. But, for thousands of years, at least 2,000 years, at least the woodland period, they came up with the bow and arrow, the Indians, the Native Americans. Now they got compound bows. That will project these arrows here at almost 300 miles an hour. And in one of my videos, I show me hitting a bullseye, 3-inch diameter bullseye with that at 90 feet. So if you look at Eagle Eric on YouTube and go into my YouTube channel and click playlists on the top, and then you'll see a category called hobbies and sports. And there I go into this particular bow put out by Bear. It's called the Bear Outbreak. 300 miles an hour almost. It's super accurate. If you practice. I mean, it's all about practicing, okay? It takes the carbon arrows, like you see here. Now you can use, if you're going for game, you could use the razor tips. Very, very sharp razor tips. I've got a lot of those. So if you're going for deer, turkey, etc., the razor tips. Then you got your practicing points, which screw in to the inserts here when you're practicing. Okay, and then you got your other apparatus. This is to protect your forearm. This is to prevent sound. It deafens the sound of the bow, so you don't spook the animals when you're going, to hunt them. This goes on your wrist. That's your release for your arrow. Nice and smooth action. Okay, you need to always be wearing goggles when you're practicing or even hunting. And you want to like one of these multi-purpose Allen wrenches, because there's 3 different size Allen screws on the on your compound bow. So you want to have one of these little small gizmos here. Okay. There's also knives, which, basically Paleo man, 8,000 BC, was making knives out of obsidian and flints and different things. I also, under hobbies and sports on my channel, I show me throwing these professional knives. I also throw knives. Okay. These I can enter competitions with, and they're very powerful, a lot of energy, because they're very thick, very heavy. These are 13-inch. They will penetrate even hardwoods, at least 2 or 3 inches easily. But if it was something softer, it's going to go maybe even right through it. Okay. Your pocket knives is a more modern invention. I don't know if they came up with these in the 1500s, pocket knives that collapse. And I like this one because it's got the eagle on the handle, and it's a big handle, because I got big hands. Certainly a necessity. Okay, and this is my favorite one, which is Damascus steel. It's been folded by a blacksmith 20 times, believe it or not. Been heated, reheated, refolded, 20 times by a blacksmith. So it took a long time, and this is all hand-tooled leather. And then I got my big Bowie knife. This was named after Jim Bowie in the Mexican War, when the U.S., the Mexicans invaded Texas, and we said, well, Texas is ours, part of the United States. And that was 1847, I believe it was. 47 and 48. It was called the Mexican Wars. Okay, this has what's called a clip point. Okay, this is what he designed because it's a fighting knife. It's designed to go into somebody, you know, really deep. I mean, that's 9.5-inch blade. And this is what's called a counter guard right here. And what he did, he was the first one to design that. If you're in a knife fight and somebody's coming at you with their knife, it'll hit that counter guard and prevent them from cutting your fingers off, basically, because that's the end of the knife fight. If you didn't have this counter guard, that knife blade would come down and hit your fingers. And so he designed a counter guard, I believe. Well, he might not have designed it, but he came up with a fighting knife with the counter guard. Okay, and this is called a pistol grip. And the reason is, well, it's like a pistol grip, you know, like a handgun type of grip. But that knob on the bottom prevents your hand from sliding off. Especially if you got in a knife fight and your hand starts bleeding, that prevents slippage. So they call that a pistol grip. That's why that was designed. It's a very good design. That's 9.5-inch blade. And that's what I use for whittling and stuff. Okay, the last thing I'll get into here is building a spear. Okay. This is just self-defense. That spear there. Okay. And what I did was I put paracord on it here and some shoelacing here. So if a bear attacked me or something, I have 2 holding points. This is a little over 6 feet. And the way how I made it, okay, the Indians also, the Native Americans, they knew to fire harden the tips of their spears on a campfire, over a campfire. You don't want to let it catch on fire, just like you're doing marshmallows. You just want it to get a little brown down here. And I made mine perfectly cylindrical, so it's super sharp. And the reason why is it will penetrate any animal down to maybe 14 inches, which basically you could kill a bear, even a moose, if you had the opportunity to plunge this into it. The other tips I can give you is this is not a branch. A lot of people think this is a branch. That's a tree trunk, believe it or not. It's basically an oak tree. One of the hardest woods in North America is the oak. And this is a sapling, basically. So I cut it down from the base of the tree. And then I whittled it down using my big Bowie knife there. And sanded it down, dried it out because it was a live sapling. You want to use a live sapling. You can see all these brown spots. That's where branches were coming off of this. This is actually a tree trunk. It's just it's a sapling. It didn't, you know, it was only about I don't know, twice that width, and I got it down to the plinth. And the plinth is the hardest part of the tree. Like I say, I made that super sharp. That will penetrate almost anything. Right there. And then I sanded it down. I left it out in the sun for 2 weeks. And then not only did I fire harden the tip, I fire hardened the whole thing. Almost nobody on YouTube is saying that. Okay? You fire harden the whole thing. So this way it changes the cellular structure of the wood. so it can't break. Still has some flex to it, but it won't break. And if you make your tip like this, cylindrical, that will penetrate and make it thin. You can see how thin it is. It's about the size of my index finger. You want to make that part of the top foot very thin. And I use this as a hiking stick because I've been stalked by mountain lion at least twice in New Mexico and another time up in New England. So I carry that as a hiking stick. And it's a good self-defense weapon. You don't want to be thrown at. There's a throwing spear, which is called the atlatl. Also, the Native Americans designed that. Which, you know, that's an offensive weapon. So anyway, these are, you know, some of the basics types of primitive fighting tools, I guess you could say. And I hope you liked that episode. And this is Eagle Eric, signing off.